This is how I took my DraftKings account to 50K in 7 months. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same. Let's start out with the most important part, which is setting a goal, setting a plan. You want to be able to set your monthly goal at a 10% ROI, which is 10 units if you're doing 1%, 5 units if you're doing 2% of your bankroll. So for example, if you have a $25,000 bankroll, you're looking to get a profit of $2,500 in that first month. Once you achieve that profit, you're going to take that and put it right back into your bankroll. You're not going to take that money and go spend it. You're going to put it right back into your bankroll. Now, you need to focus on staying consistent because this is very important. You will not last 7 months if the consistency is not there. So you need to be able to stay consistent, and you also need to realize if you don't reach your goal of 10%, it's okay. All right. As long as you are still profiting, you are still good. You will still make some money long term, but you have to stay consistent with it. Just because you don't reach your 10% maybe in the first month does not mean that you go off betting random stuff because you're trying to catch up and get that 10% or get 15% the next month. You're not supposed to do that. You want to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent and make sure that you stick to the plan that you have set out. Now, let's get to the bet size that you're going to need. The bet size you're going to need is 1 to 2% of your bankroll. So for example, a $25,000 bankroll, this would be a $250 bet or $500 bet. That's what you would be putting on each play. You're not putting what the odds are. You're putting either 250 or 500. And at the beginning of the month, you make that decision of which are you going to stick to 1% or 2%? And you stick to that the whole entire month. You do not keep adjusting your size based on the play. Because, for example, let's say you go on a winning streak at betting $250 per play. You decide to up it to 500. Next thing you know, you hit a little bump and you hit a couple losses. Now you've lost a lot. You've dug yourself a hole because you took the losses at $500 and only got the wins at $250. So that's why you don't want to do that. You want to decide at the beginning of the month, am I going to do 1% or 2%? And you stick with that whole entire month, regardless of the odds. That is what you put on each play. Now, when you do reassess and adjust, the unit size that you have is at the beginning of every month. Because the beginning of every month, you are going to reassess your bankroll and you are going to do your unit size according to what your bankroll is. So, for example, a $25,000 bankroll at the end of the first month, you make that 10%. Now it's $27,500 is your new bankroll for the next month. So you take your unit size and you go from there. Make sure you have the right bet size down because it's very, very important. All right. Now you want to be able to focus on sports and markets that you are an expert in. Not necessarily, you're an expert in one sport, but you don't want to dabble in stuff that you don't know nothing about the numbers, you don't know nothing about the lines, you don't understand how to adjust totals, adjust player props. If you don't know how to do that stuff, you don't want to dive into that when you have this plan set out. You want to have a strategy already in place to be able to do what I'm teaching you right now. This is not about developing a strategy. This is already having that strategy in place and just implementing this plan into that strategy. So if you don't know a strategy in every single sport that you have down, you just have to use the one that you do have down, all right, and the strategy that you have. To get those strategies, you have to use advanced data. So you have to find the analytics and stuff that's going to give you plays that could hit 70 to 80% of the time. Now, a lot of people say, that's impossible. You can't do that. Listen, guys, if you guys watch my videos, if you guys watch my show, I show you guys every single day that you can hit in those percentages. So it's very, very possible. You just got to have the right data. You got to have the right strategies in place for that. Now, again, if you guys want those strategies, make sure you go down in the description and click the link in the description because I could share with you all the strategies that I know in every single sport and you bypass everything of trying to learn on your own. Next thing you need to do is avoid chasing. This is huge because if you start chasing losses, because you're going to occur losses, it doesn't matter if you hit 80% of the time, that means you're going to lose 20% of the time. So when you occur losses, this is where people lose all of their money and they end up emptying out their bankroll because emotionally, people can't handle losing. So once you lose a bet, you're trying to chase that back to get that money back. Now, when you're betting plays that have probabilities of 70 to 80%, when you lose one bet, the next bet you win is not going to cover the previous loss. You need to win a couple more to cover that previous loss. So your mentality needs to understand that. If you don't understand that mentally, you are not going to be able to withstand and stay consistent and stick to the course. All right. Because if your mind can't grasp the concept that you're going to lose 20% of the time, but you'll win 80% of the time, or you'll win 70% of the time and lose 30% of the time, if you can't grasp that concept, you're not going to make it long term. You won't make it the 7 months to build your account up. You have to understand what it takes mentally. Because if you can understand what it takes mentally, then you can do this. You could set out a plan. You could stay consistent. You could have the right strategy, and you could be successful with doing this and pretty much carrying out this plan that I'm showing you right now. Now, this is very important as well, which is tracking. You got to track your stuff. So if you have a strategy that you've been using, it must be tracked, because you don't know if it's profitable or not if you're not tracking it. So as you're going through the 7 months of trying to build your account, the strategy that you have in place, you should be logging all those bets down as well. Because if you're not logging any of that stuff down, you don't know if you're really winning or losing or what's working and what's not, especially if you're using multiple strategies. So if you're using multiple strategies, you need to have a log of all of that. If you don't have a log of all of it, you will just be out in the clouds because you'll have no idea what's really going on. And your success rate of reaching 50K in 7 months is going to diminish if you don't have the right tracking systems in place. You need to track everything that you're doing because it's very important. You need to be able to define where the weaknesses are in certain strategies that you're using and adjust accordingly. Because you can't just use one strategy and stick to that forever. All right, sports change, players change, rules change, all that stuff changes. So you have to adjust accordingly to that. You'll only know that if you're tracking your stuff. So it's very important to make sure you have your tracking systems in place so you know exactly what to look for and if you need to change certain things here and there. Now let's talk about the bankroll strategy that goes along with that. You need to set a loss limit. All right, this is one way to ensure you don't dig yourself into an incredible hole. So a loss limit of 5% of your bankroll is what it should be. So if you occur 5%, like you've lost in the first 2 weeks of a month, you've lost 5% of your bankroll, you need to just cut it there and wait to start the next month. Because when you are playing probability plays that are 70 to 80% of the time are going to win, you shouldn't be occurring a 5% loss. So you have to go and reassess exactly what is going on there. And you would take those 2 weeks to reassess what was going on to kind of start it over for the next month. So you have to set a stop loss there. So that way you know exactly, okay, I'm only going to lose if my strategy goes haywire and I'm not doing the right things, I'm only going to lose 5% of my bankroll because I'm going to cut it there and I'm going to figure out what it is that I'm doing that is wrong. So you have to set a stop loss. Once you set a stop loss of 5%, then you can expect that no matter what month it is, you're never going to lose more than 5% of your bankroll. So your whole bankroll will never be in jeopardy. Now, treat your profits as a cushion. Treat 50% of your monthly profits as cushion money because this mitigates the risk and provides confidence for your next month. So make sure that you are doing that as well. All right. So if you are making more than what you are on track to do, if you're, you want 10% goal, you've reached 15% in the first couple of weeks, make sure you understand that that extra 5%, that's your cushion money. Okay. That's your cushion money there to where you could use that for the rest of your month. Don't put that other 10% in jeopardy. Make sure that you are getting that 10% no matter what happens from there on out. So it's kind of like a stop win almost a little bit. You just take the excess profit and you use that for the rest, ensuring that you're going to make that 10% regardless what happens for the rest of that month. All right. Now let's get to kind of a detailed month-by-month plan of how this looks. So as you can see from the graph here, you started with $25,000 bankroll. Like I said before, $2,500 you make in your first month. Your bankroll starting next month would be $27,500. Now you're going to go and do either 1 or 2% of that. Now this is just using 1% right here. This graph is using 1%. So the next month you make $2,750. That brings your bankroll to $30,250. That's in 2 months. All right. So You already see the growth starting just right off the bat. Then the next month, you're taking that bankroll, 1% of 30,250. You're expected, to get 10% ROI. You end up getting $3,025. Now your new bankroll, 33,275. You keep doing this month after month. Now, once you get up to the 6th and 7th month, you could see where your initial $25,000 investment now is worth $44,288. And then going into the last month, you're going to use that to, 1 to 2% of that total as your new unit size. And now your profit in that month will be 4,400 and some change, and bring you to nearing that 50K mark. So a little bit shy, 48,717, but still pretty much in that 50K range. You took that $25,000 bankroll, you made $50,000 in your account. Now, one thing you do need to understand when it comes to this though, is you can't do this forever. Okay. You can't just keep snowballing and keep going, because DraftKings will limit you. So this is about the max of where you can go before they start limiting you. So about 6-7 months of consistently betting either $250 to $500 to $750 per play, they will limit you right after that. So what you have to do is, if you want to continuously keep this type of plan going and accelerate the growth of your accounts, it's not going to be just in one sports book. It's going to be across multiple sports books. Because now, if your unit size is $1,000, what you want to do is you want to have at least 4 or 5 sports books where you can split that unit size up and make bets of $200 across 5 sports books. Now you're limiting the chance of you getting banned or getting limited at that sports book. Because if you're going to consistently bet $1,000 at a sports book, I'll tell you right now, you'll last maybe 1 or 2 months. And once they see that you're consistently winning at that rate, you will be knocked down. You'll only be able to bet $100, $50, if that. All right. So you have to make sure, if you're trying to keep this plan going and you want to surpass 50K and keep going, you need to add additional sports books into your tool belt. You need to have 5 to 10 of them, I would suggest, at least. So that way you could split your bets up amongst multiple of them. That is how you're going to pretty much take away the factor of you getting limited or banned. And the bigger your unit size gets, the more sports books you got to split it up at. That's the only way to success. That's the only way to make consistent money from the sports books. You need to have the right strategy in place, the right plan, and to be able to execute that plan across multiple sports books as you build your bankroll up. But that is exactly how in 7 months you could take $25,000 and turn it into $50,000 in your one account. All right. But once you surpass that, you need to open up multiple accounts, and you could do this across multiple accounts. But you got to have the right strategies in place. If you don't have the right strategies in place, none of this is going to work. Again, so if you guys want the strategies that I teach and I show you one-on-one how you could achieve this type of goal, make sure you guys go down in the description and click the link. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.